Okay, this is Resolution 2019-06. Resolution of the Foster Town Council, subject Second Amendment Sanctuary Town Resolution. That the Town of Foster, the town, adopts a Second Amendment Sanctuary Town Resolution as follows. Whereas the Town of Foster's Town Council, pursuant to Rhode Island statute and the Town of Foster's charter, is vested with the authority of administering the affairs of the Town of Foster. And whereas the Second Amendment to the United States Constitution, adopted in 1791 as part of the Bill of Rights, protects the inalienable rights and individual rights of the people to keep and bear arms. And whereas the United States Supreme Court in District of Columbia versus Heller, 554 U.S. 570, 2008, affirmed an individual's right to possess firearms unconnected with service in a militia for traditionally lawful purposes such as self-defense within the home. And whereas the United States Supreme Court in McDonald versus Chicago, 561 U.S. 742, 2010, affirmed that the right of an individual to keep and bear arms as protected under the Second Amendment is incorporated by the Due Process Clause of the 14th Amendment and it is applicable to the states. And whereas the United States Supreme Court in United States versus Miller, 307 U.S. 174, 1939, opined that firearms that are part of ordinary military equipment or with use that could contribute to the common defense are protected by the Second Amendment. And whereas Article 1, Section 22 of the Rhode Island Constitution provides that the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. And whereas Article 1, Section 6 of the Rhode Island Constitution provides that the right of the people to be secure in their persons, papers, and possessions against unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated, and no warrant shall issue but on complaint and writing upon probable cause, supported by oath or affirmation, and describing as nearly as many as may be the place to be searched and the persons or things to be seized. And whereas Rhode Island law requires in-state residency, background checks, an 8-day waiting period, and a Rhode Island Department of Environmental Management pistol revolver certification, or blue card, for handgun purchases. And whereas Rhode Island law prohibits all gun purchases, 1, on behalf of another person, or 2, for anyone under indictment or convicted of a felony, or of any crime for which said person could be imprisoned for more than 1 year, or 3, for anyone who is a fugitive from justice, or 4, for any unlawful user of or addicted to marijuana or any depressant, stimulant, narcotic drug, or any controlled substance, regardless of whether it has been legalized or decriminalized for medical or recreational purposes. Or 5, for anyone adjudicated as a mental defective or has ever been committed to a mental institution. Or 6, for anyone who has been discharged from the armed forces under dishonorable conditions. Or 7, for anyone who is subject to a court order restraining said person from harassing, stalking, or threatening their child or intimate partner or child of such partner. Or 8, for anyone who has been convicted in any court of a misdemeanor crime of domestic violence. Or 9, for anyone who has renounced their United States citizenship. Or 10, for anyone who is an alien illegally or unlawfully in the United States. And whereas it is the desire of the Foster Town Council to declare its support of the Second Amendment to the United States Constitution and to the provisions of the Rhode Island Constitution, which protect the town's citizens inalienable and individual rights to keep and bear arms. And whereas the Foster Town Council members each took an oath to support and defend the United States Constitution and the Rhode Island Constitution and the laws of the state of Rhode Island, which are not deemed unconstitutional by a court of competent jurisdiction and the charter of the town of Foster. Now, therefore, it is resolved by the Foster Town Council that the town of Foster be and hereby is declared to be a Second Amendment sanctuary town. Be it further resolved that the Foster Town Council affirms its support for the Foster Police Department to exercise sound discretion when enforcing laws impacting the right of citizens under the Second Amendment. Be it further resolved that the Foster Town Council will not appropriate funds for the capital construction of building space or purchase of storage systems to store weapons seized pursuant to the requirements set forth in any legislation if such bill is enacted by the Rhode Island General Assembly, and/or for the purpose of enforcing any other law that unconstitutionally infringes upon the right of the people of the town of Foster to keep and bear arms. And then it's adopted this 9th day of May, 2019, Foster Town Council.